Welcome everybody back to Boost Motion, guys, and today we're going to talk about it. Two things. We're going to talk about the Foundation E63s Mercedes. Also, will Mercedes be putting the same four-cylinder turbo hybrid system in a new E63s? So guys, let's go. Let's jump right into it. No intro. Still trying to figure that out with this computer system. But first thing, shout out to my Boost Motion family. I know you guys have already hit the like button. Thank you for your support. And if you're new to the Boost Motion channel, I am Boost Motion, but I'm also a current owner of a 2019 E63s. Also owned a W205 C63. So I'm a little bit in this Mercedes community, but anyways, let's jump into it. Hopefully I earned you guys like. So quickly look at this article. First thing, the final edition. Let's just get this out the way. The final edition. Guys, I'm going to be honest, my honest opinion. I always wondered what's up with the gimmick, right? Bear with me. What is up with the gimmick of making these final edition and first edition cars? They're essentially just the cars that they sell to hype up the buyer. There's nothing really that much more special about it other than usually some aesthetic decals that usually you can buy aftermarket off of eBay or Amazon, and certain trims that options that they're already going to have on their regular car. So I always find that these editions are super weird. They're like hyped up. It's not like a BMW where they have like a Keith model or whatever, a Keith model, and specific other versions. They don't really make it that much more special, in my personal opinion. But you guys may see different. So for anyone who doesn't know, this is some kind of old news, but the special edition is limited to 99 to pretty much under 1,000 units worldwide. This is going to be the last year in 2023, and pretty much they're going to sell these through different parts of the world, and they're basically stating that 50 units of the E63s Foundation will be equally divided in 25 left-hand and right-hand drive for the Japanese market. But essentially what I want to talk about here is the price. This car is going to go for $184,000. Say that again with me. $184,000 for pretty much a dinosaur, the final year. And there's nothing that much more different about the car. So at the end of the day, it sucks that this is going to be technically the last gasoline-only E63 because everything else is moving to hybrid technology, which we're going to talk about quickly. But it's just, why do you guys care so much about these editions? Why? It's like it's like when they sell a hyped up car. Oh yeah, this car, like the new Supra was coming back out. It got hyped up, but then it just dumbed back down. So I don't see the hype about it. There's nothing special about it. But anyways, let's go to the next article, right? So the next article is pretty much the newer trim level of the E63, and pretty much the E-Class is coming out. And the super weird part about it is, right, that I find to be very weird about this, that confuses me, is this. They've already changed the styling on the E63 kind of quickly. For example, I'm in the U.S. market. The 2018 to the 2020 E63 has the same look. The 2021 to basically the 2023 is pretty much the same look. So it's running on about 3 years. And now they want to actually change up the look and go with a different one. This is a render of what they think the new E63s will look like. But also they have some spy shots here of the regular E-Class, right? And honestly, I don't think it's going to look that much more different. It's just, they're just changing the looks of mainly the front bumper and the rear bumper. They're not really changing anything to me, honestly, that's dramatic, that I'm like, oh my God, excuse me, bear with me, guys, that I have to like sit here and fight for it. Wow, must have the slowest internet in the world today. See, the rear bumpers, we already know the rear bumper and the front bumper looks very similar. But honestly, most likely, the biggest change that's going to come with this car will be the interior. Honestly, that's it. It's going to look like more of the, let me click this off. Can't even click off the ad. It will mainly look like the new C-Class interior and the S-Class interior, if you know what I mean, right? Pretty much it'll look like that. And I'm not really so much of a fan of the new interior because I honestly think that they added way too much tech now. Like, I like that they have the nice flowing thing that comes up in the middle. It's very pretty interior. But now I think we're at this point where these cars are so digital that I don't think they're going to be timeless, personally. I don't think we're going to look back at these cars' interior from 10, 15 years now and be like, wow, those S classes look so good. No, I think that things that are analog date become less dated over time. A lot more less dated. Like if someone hopped in like a Lamborghini Gallardo from like 20 years ago, like they appreciate the fact of analog and everything like that. But think about cars that were digital like 20, 30 years ago, digital dash. We look at those cars and we don't be like, oh my God, this is beautiful. Like you literally see the LCD pixels dying on the screen. Like a lot of that stuff we're not so much really into. Like remember, some cars used to have phones in it, dated technology, and I think Mercedes is doing the same thing when it comes to their vehicles. They're making interiors really nice, but it's too digital. Now I would sit there and say that BMW is doing something very similar, but anyways, I'm getting off topic. But at the end of the day, the interior to me is becoming very dated. So for me to continue, right? Um, so they're sitting there thinking about. I've been hearing rumors. I've been reading different articles saying that the E63 is gonna have a 4-cylinder turbo, something like the C63. They're thinking about it, and honestly, I really hope that's a freaking lie. The reason why I hope that's a lie is why would you take a 45 or 4,600 pound car, right, and then decide to put a 4-cylinder in it, knowing that it's going to add another 500 pounds of weight to make this a heavy beast. Now, they did this, something very similar in the E63, the S63 and the GT63. But here's a big difference. They kept the V8, the same 4-liter V8, which we're happy that it's still going to be here, but they added the hybrid technology, the energy packs or the battery packs, and pretty much the rear electric motor on the rear axle. I already talked about this stuff on my channel, so you can definitely look up the C63S. So it pushes that GT63 over 5,000 pounds, and that car is like 4,600 pounds already. And the S-Class was already heavy, so just add 500 to 600 pounds of more weight. These cars are getting to be super freaking heavy. Yes, you want to make the car more compliant and efficient with emission standards, but technically, at this point, I don't even think it's even about how much miles per gallon you're trying to get. I think we're at this point of like just our carbon footprint. Like you could have 1,000 horsepower, but you're gonna have electric motor on it. So it's like, what was the point of really doing that? Just so that we can have the car running just a little bit less. That's what I think Mercedes is technically doing. We just want our cars to run not all the, like if you're driving for 10 minutes, we just want the car to run for 5 minutes. And technically that is like, if all cars can do that in the world, then that does cut down emissions. It makes sense. But I don't think that's something that necessarily is the way that you actually should think about it. As if you're supposed to just be able to shut the car off, and now you just run electricity for a little while. So we'll just get an electric car for that. I like that they want to mix these technologies. Once again, I don't want to come off like a hypocrite because I say I do like the technology, but you still have a V8 in it. And I'm happy they kept the V8. I think I'm just really salty more about the fact that they didn't keep the V8 in the Z63, to be honest with you. But what will they do with the E63? In my opinion, I think they're going to keep the V8 in it and do the same thing they did in the GT and the S-Class. They're just going to do the same exact thing. Because if they put the 4-cylinder in the E-Class, it's going to be terrible. Already, it's a 4,600-pound car that's going to be over 5,000 pounds, and we already saw the power delivery of the C63S. Power delivery is about 700 horsepower. The same thing. The old E63S without the electric motors did the same power. So for now, you to add 500 pounds more and then have similar power wouldn't make any sense. So I think they're going to keep the V8 in there. I think they're going to go with the electric hybrid like they want to do. And they're going to try their best to, that's going to be the selling point. They're going to be like, yeah, this car has 750 or 780 horsepower. And people going to buy it because they're like, wow, and you can still plug it in. So I get their gimmick. I see what they're trying to do. But I don't think they're going to put the 4-cylinder in it. That ain't happening. It's going to be V8, and that's my honest opinion. I'm going to stick with it. And as a E63S owner, like, shout out to Kawa. He said it. When he reviewed the C63S, the one with the hybrid, right? He sat there and said to himself, this car is about to be a $90,000 car, brand new. And you're not going to have any more of the sound from the V8, the torque of the V8, the power delivery, and pretty much the lighter weight like what the old W205 was. And he said it right there in the video before I even came as a thought. I was like, man, why don't you just get a E63s? And he said it. If you're in the market, just go get a pre-owned E63s. You'll get an all-wheel drive. You get a V8. The car will be the same amount of weight, and you'll have all the miles per gallon. Same thing. And I was like, that makes sense. It makes sense. But outside that, guys, you have a good morning, good afternoon, good night. Just want to give you some of my thoughts about the E63s, what Mercedes is doing in the market. And honestly, I mean, they need to get choked out. That's why BMW, M's be beating them. But you can't compare the two. I know they're two different cars. But at the end of the day, I really appreciate you guys very much. You can add me at boostinmotion on IG and Facebook. Also, you can email me at boostinmotion at gmail.com. Otherwise than that, guys, I appreciate it. You guys have a good day. Thank you.